Good morning and welcome to the podcast Unclassed. I'm your host, Andrew Vigil, and I just want to thank you for your time. Today's topic is called The Power of Words and Belief in Someone. Um, and that can't be understated, especially with the world we live in now with social media and technology. But I want to give you a little bit of context to why I'm doing this segment. Um, it all started when I was in high school. I wasn't the best student. I was. It was safe to say I was there for the social aspect of school, hanging out with friends, talking to pretty girls, going to games. Uh, Education, learning was secondary, and that's just how it was with me. It wasn't necessarily the right way, but um, that's just kind of the how I fell into school was just the social aspect and talking with people and hanging out with people. And so let's just say my grades weren't the best, to put it mildly. Um, and when it came time for me to graduate high school in 1995, um, I I happened to, I don't even know how this happened, but I was looking at the yearbook superlatives, the class couple, the class clown, the most likely to achieve, the best smile, the prettiest eyes, that kind of thing. And I don't even know how I got access before the yearbook was put out, but I was kind of looking through those. I was kind of hoping to get class clown. Um, Again, that kind of just shows you where my mindset was. I didn't get it, and I lost out to a really awesome guy who got the award. But I noticed under most likely to succeed, someone had put my name in the box. Um, Now, I did not get that award. Actually, the one who got the award will be a guest on my show in the next few weeks when we talk about COVID. But um, I thought it was really odd because I wasn't sure why someone nominated me. Um, it was rather strange to me. I didn't know if it was a joke um, or what that person saw in me to think that, or they were so sure of themselves that I would succeed. I didn't quite understand that. Um, but I've never forgotten it because almost 30 years later, I'm still talking about that as if it was still fresh in my memory. Um, and so that power of belief resonates really strong with me because if I'm afraid to do something or try something new or kind of go out on a limb and do something like a podcast or whatnot, um, I still kind of in the back of my mind, I remember, well, someone had that belief in me, and it kind of gives me that little extra push to move forward. Um, so the power of belief is instrumental with what I do as a teacher, um, what you guys do as parents, and what you guys do as coworkers, because it doesn't matter if you have students or if you have kids, you still are amongst people. For the most part, most of us are, and we have that power to give that encouragement, give that belief. Um, and believe it or not, those people probably won't ever forget that if what you say is genuine and authentic and it's true that you actually believe in that person. I can guarantee you, I mean, someone didn't even tell me that. They just nominated me. Like they didn't even like add words to it. They just put my name in the box for most likely to succeed. And that was enough for me not to forget. So if you can imagine telling someone that with authenticity, um, I guarantee you it won't be forgotten. Um, I also want to share um, something a student of mine wrote. That he graduated a few years ago. And this goes along the lines of power belief. Um, the topic was part of my final was to write about your favorite memory in my class. And this young man, like me, wasn't the best student. He was distracted a lot, and he missed a lot of class. But he wrote, "My favorite memory was coming to a class I never showed up, and seeing a teacher who should have never tried to work with me or believe in me because I never gave a reason for it. Thank you, Mr. Vigil. I can really say you and maybe one or two teachers that I have ever had in my life when you were the only ones who knew I could graduate. I just want to say thank you so much for everything. I might go back to the streets when I'm out of here. Who knows? All I know is I won't forget you and what you did." Um, and I kind of chuckle because if he loved my class so much, why wouldn't he show up more? But he actually did show up a fair amount. But the point is, in this young man's entire educational experience, kinder through 12th, he said me and maybe one or two others believed in him that he could graduate. And I feel like that did help him to graduate. And I've had several. I don't need to read the different testimonials of students that have reached out to me and thanked me for my belief in them. And I get that. I get that on my social media. There'll be a memory or something, and they'll just say, thank you for standing by me. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for never giving up on me. Because I do. I believe in that power of belief. And I mean, if I was able to graduate high school, get a bachelor's, and get a master's degree, um, if I was able to do that, considering my struggles in academics and my lack of motivation and my lack of intrinsic motivation, then anyone can. And just to show you how powerful it is, I was at a high school graduate 20-year reunion, and one of the people there, one of my former classmates, I'd known him since middle school. Really smart guy, good grades, and we were talking, and he said, "Oh, you got your bachelor's, right?" I said, "Yeah, I got my bachelor's at New Mexico State, got my master's." And his jaw dropped. He said, "You got your master's degree?" And I kind of chuckled inside because I can't fault him for being surprised, because he knew who I was in middle school and high school. And it just goes to show you, at some point, most of us kind of get our acts together. And I can't stress that enough, especially with young boys, young men. Um, we do tend to find our way. Sometimes it's just a little longer than it is for our female counterparts. But I know this. I know coming in to my classroom, my boys are going to struggle. The maturity levels aren't quite where they should be for a lot of them, and so I don't hold it against them if they can't think and act the way they should, because I wasn't able to. Um, so the power of belief in anyone will carry them through some of the darker times, some of the tougher times. So please find ways to encourage people um, in every opportunity that you can. Um, I also want to talk about the power of words. Um, and, there's this old um, story, allegory, metaphor about, if you hammer nails into a fence, um, if you pull the nails out, there's still a hole in the fence. Um, obviously meaning you can't take words back, right? Um, if you let words fly without thinking about them, the damage is done, even if you take the nails out. And I learned the power of words one day in one of my seniors. He was going to graduate. Again, this is it was a really special class, but a few years ago, this young man, uh, his name was Justin, and big kid, 6'2", 6'3", just solid. And I walked by his desk. I always try to find opportunities to encourage my students, to check on them, to give them a pat on the back, say something nice and encouraging to them. And this kid, he never, I don't know, he kept to himself. He never looked up very much, just real quiet. And I remember I walked by his desk and I put my hand on his back and I told him, I looked something over and I said, "Good job. I'm proud of you." Something really basic, something that didn't take any effort at all. And to be honest with you, I don't even know how great the product was that he did. That wasn't the point. I kind of was just looking for a way to encourage a student of mine. And he looked up and his eyes kind of watered a little bit. And this is an 18-year-old kid about ready to graduate high school. And he asked me if I meant that. And I said, "Well, of course, Justin, of course I meant it." And he said, "No one's ever told me they were proud of me." And I was kind of taken back. I said, "Really?" And he said, "No, sir. Um, no one's ever told me they were proud of me." And it kind of floored me for a little while. Um, and that opened up the door for him to open up to me, even though there was only maybe a month and a half left of school. And as he opened up to me, he shared with me some of the things his mother would tell him. You're the reason why your dad left, and you're worthless. And the worst things you could possibly tell anyone, much less your son. I mean, the things this young man was hearing from his biological mother it broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I don't know how well she was mentally. I know she was struggling with some of her own issues, but she was just really kind of destroying the student of mine. And then he showed me how he lost, I think like it was 150 pounds, and he was working out a lot. And I'm not sure if his home life was fueling his ambition to work out, lose weight, and just finish school. But there was something that was really igniting inside of him. But it was me telling this young man for the first time in his life that I was proud of him, opened up the door to a dialogue that allowed me to kind of help encourage him even more. And so in that one example, you have the power of words to destroy, and you have the power of words to build up. And that always stuck with me because no one should go 18 years without someone telling them they're proud of them. No one. We are such a better version of ourselves when people are in our corner, when they say how proud they are of us, when they encourage us, they lift us up. We're such a better version of ourselves. And hopefully we've all had that moment when someone said something praiseworthy to us. It just feels really good. So don't waste an opportunity to acknowledge something that's praiseworthy of your kids, your parents, your coworkers, your teachers, your students. Um, I tell police officers every single chance I get how grateful I am that they are protecting us, um, and it makes their day. I mean, it makes their day because how hard their job is, and people are always thanking me for being a teacher. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it, and it is hard. But when those people say thank you for being in the classroom, it gives you that extra energy that's so needed. That is so needed. So I challenge you to find someone that's got it hard, got it tough, has a tough job, is going through a hard time. Maybe none of those. Maybe you just want to compliment someone or just encourage them. Um, it'll change things for them for a good little while. So I just wanted to share with you kind of briefly. This isn't a normal length episode. I just wanted to put this out there because the school year is starting in a couple days, and I'm going to have 150, 160 students who most of them have never had me. And I look at that as that many kids that I can encourage, I can compliment, I can help motivate, because who knows if they've never heard anything like that before. But it can change a life. Your words can build up or they can destroy. And I'm telling you, when someone put my name in the box for most likely to succeed, I laughed. I kind of wondered if it was the right Andrew Vigil. um, and maybe someone put it in as a joke, which they very well could have. But it doesn't matter because I haven't forgotten it. Um, and when the people around you can feel you in their corner, can rely on you, especially with how hard today is. These days are just so hard and stressful. Um, and the way, especially if you have young kids or if you have kids with social media, the way these young people are destroying each other, um, it's it'll astound you when my kids tell me, when they post a selfie of them, like when one of my young ladies posted a selfie of her wearing a pretty dress, and she's like, "Mr. Vigil, someone said my nose looks like a toucan or something," and completely. I don't know if she can look at herself again and not look at her nose because someone's harsh words. Either someone was jealous or someone didn't like her, or for whatever reason, someone decided to say something really awful to this girl. Um, and when someone tells you something like that, it draws your attention to what was commented on. So I she might be too nervous to post another selfie again, or maybe she'll second guess posting a picture of herself because she's going to look at her nose and she's going to think it's big. We have to find a way to counteract all the viciousness and the awfulness that's said, that's written. We have to, because most, especially with my students and these young people, most of these kids, like, all they hear is really negative stuff, or they hear stuff, sadly, where guys just want to take advantage. They say things sexual to, try to get them in bed. It's not genuine. It's not authentic. It's just inappropriate comments that sadly these girls are eating up because they're not hearing it from anyone else. They're not hearing it from their family or their fathers, or they're not hearing it from a trusted family member or person. So when there's no one pouring into these kids or pouring into these people, what little bit they get from someone that's looking to take advantage of them, they eat it up. Or if these kids are getting destroyed by people, there's nothing to bring them back up to equilibrium because they're not hearing it. So the power of belief and the power of words can really, really change a life for the better or the worse. So again, thank you for your time. I know how valuable it is. We don't have enough of it. And I am excited to share with you my topic next Wednesday. It's going to be kind of it's going to be on why the teaching profession chose me and not the other way around. And I'm going to just talk a little bit about what drew me in. And I think it can apply to many different walks of life. So stay tuned in for next Wednesday's episode. But for now, again, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. When we know better, we do better. Thank you, and God bless.